Sarah, you know what? I've been thinking.
Oh my, here we go. What's been on your mind, Renee? We all want to know.
Like I believe that. So I've been thinking, there are so many amazing stories developing right here in Fostoria, Ohio. And I can only imagine that there are very similar stories happening all over rural and suburban America. And these stories deserve to be told.
I wholeheartedly agree. But I'm sure that doesn't surprise you.
No, it doesn't. You should agree with me because I'm right.
Right. So what do we do about all these stories?
Well, we've got to make it our mission to tell them. They deserve a platform, and that's what this podcast shall be. I've decided.
Well, Renee's decided, and that's how it shall be.
Exactly.
Truthfully, you're right. I know here in Fostoria, we're all working together to make the most of a multitude of resources out there. Lots of people probably don't know about all the resources available to them. We could share all the resources we've capitalized on via this podcast.
That's what I'm saying.
Glad to know we're on the same page.
Yup. So buckle up, people, and enjoy another episode of Shut Up and Listen.
Small Town Stories
With Sarah.
and Renee. Here we go. Ready?
Take it off, Sarah.
I don't know why I had to clap like that to reset my brain. Okay. So we're back for another episode of... We don't have to intro.
You don't have
It's
to
like
intro.
this ingrained
I was just
in
really
me.
excited for it though.
Were you?
Because I'm on this
Because
side.
you're on this side. So this is we have a guest on our couch today who is usually hiding behind the cameras and walking around and taking pictures. And so how does it feel to be on the couch?
I don't love it.
But thanks for agreeing to it.
Well, I feel sad for you, but suck it up.
I don't think you do.
So,
Probably not.
on the couch with us today is Ashley Barger. And we have been working with Ashley for a couple years now.
Yes.
You are the legend behind the podcast here. And
Our
then-
driving force.
You're the taskmaster.
Yes.
And then you also do some of the marketing for the Learning Center
Yes.
and some different things like that. So first and foremost, tell everyone about your business and a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I feel like that's a really huge question. But just
That's okay. We want you to fill all the time. Go ahead.
Go
Oh, okay.
We're just going to sit here and look at you adoringly.
Surface level, I have a marketing company. I serve, I think it's 14 different clients now. It's called Do Some Good Marketing. My son, who is 10, does not like the name. He thinks it's bad. There's a whole video on it on my socials if you'd like to watch it.
Well, I have seen it, and it is very entertaining.
My children like to tell me like it is, which they get that honestly.
Yeah.
'Cause I
Sometimes it's helpful, sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, I don't know. All words are interesting.
They are.
All perspectives are enlightening. So yeah, I do marketing, all kinds of marketing, digital. I love public relations. That's what I studied. And I actually worked with the Arnold Sports Festival and the Columbus Rotary Club, and then CoachTrestle.com. I love writing, so I love writing press releases, which sounds really boring, but that's fun for me, and launching campaigns. So that kind of helped me dive into the whole marketing realm or figuring out my skill set there. So yeah, it's anything digital, writing, events related. I love planning events and executing those. There's something about orchestrating bodies, getting from one place to the next. I did
You're so
wedding
weird.
planning. I know. I love all that kind of stuff. I am weird. I'm extremely weird.
I
Yes.
love that.
I think it's
know.
great. I think it's great because, again, I think where we have found so much value, not just as friends, of course, but you handle things that Sarah and I don't like to do.
Yes. It's amazing.
And you enjoy them.
I do.
So you compliment us just
Perfectly.
Well, that's
Yes.
lovely.
Yes. So you kind of outlined your experience and kind of how you got to where you are. How long have you had your company?
So, really back in 2020, even before the pandemic started, I kind of just started setting my life. I did some introspective writing and things like that and started a personal blog, and I just decided that I couldn't keep going and doing the things the way I was doing. I couldn't go to a corporate 9 to 5, not be there for my children. Husband was traveling a lot more, even through COVID. We have 3 boys, and they were getting into activities, and I'm like, I have to be the flexible one here. So what can I do? That is that. And so I went to my current employer, and I said, how about I become a 1099? And started kind of scaling back on what I was doing for them, and they hired internally, and I helped them with some things. And then my father-in-law has an advertising company, and his clients needed social media help. So they were my first 2 clients, and then I stopped serving either of them and have my own set of clients. That really was just word of mouth. I know a mutual friend introduced us, and so that's kind of how it all came to be. And I've been Do Some Good Marketing has been in existence since August 2020.
Okay.
So.
And you just got your own like official office space?
I did. I've been doing things very slowly. I'm sure my first year in business, I made very little money. The next year I made a little bit more, but this last year I doubled my income, and then this year I'm projecting to, I think, it grow about 40%. So it's just, so now that I actually have funds, like money, I decided to open up my new office space, which is very small, minimal, but the idea is that I can do podcasts like this, because I have 2 other clients I serve just in podcasting, and they were asking, do you have a studio? I don't, but now I do. It was a labor of love. I cleaned it up, fixed it up, got my own furniture, mics and cameras, lighting, things like that. So it feels official.
That's very exciting.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a fun time.
So looking back at your 4 years, and for people listening that maybe are looking to start something, that you said really speaks to them, that lights a spark about, you just kind of did a reset of your life. What advice would you give to someone looking to start?
Yes. Find your mentors. People who can advocate with you, for you. I think that is number 1. I think the safe route is the best way to take it. As I mentioned, I leaned on my former employer. My father-in-law had a business that needed help. I think even if you're really good at something, unless you have reserves to live on, I think being slow and smart about things is the way to go. And that's not how I am in normal life. I make gut decisions a lot of the time, which, I don't bat 1,000, but I do pretty well. But when it came to that, and it was time away from my family. It is time away from my family. And then it's funds for us to go on vacations and out to dinner and things like that. And now it's become a little more than that. So I just think going slowly and continuously creating benchmarks for yourself, I think those are, and having your people with you, I think those are really good ways to go about starting a business.
I think that's great advice. I really do. So are you currently taking on new clients?
It's a weighted question.
Because it's just you.
It's just me. I do have a couple girls who are college students who want experience. So I've been able to kind of coach and mentor them, and they help me at the same time.
Okay.
Mostly in the social media realm. It's so cool now. They actually teach that stuff in college. There are classes for that. And I love that. I'm like, wow, if I would have had stuff like that instead of just figuring it out as I go, which that's just my style, I guess. That would have been cool. So they're getting some experience with me, so they help kind of offload some of the social media, but it is still coaching. Yeah. And if you've ever been a coach or a mentor to somebody else, that still takes time and energy and effort. But, they're getting the experience, and sometimes it's like, wow, that's a weight off, that's done, cool. But otherwise, yes, it's just me. So I am entertaining new clients. It has to be a right fit. I think that I'm taking the time to date my clients before we actually jump at it.
What do you look for?
Yes, I have a whole ad. No. No, I just think it's got to be a mutually beneficial experience. And I've had several meetings where we both walked away and said, no, not right now. And that's okay. I think it's a really good way to look at things, and I'm fortunate. Again, I've done this thing slowly. Now, in the beginning, maybe I would have just said, yes, let's try it. But I just think it's nice that I have that opportunity, and so do they. I think it's fair for everyone.
Now, you have slow and steady over the last 4 years. Do you have goals or ideas that you would like to see implemented in the next couple of years?
Yes, of course.
And would you like to share any of those?
I think I can. Again, like benchmarks. So the podcast space is for my current clients and myself, but it would be great if I could rent out the podcast space to other folks who want to start a podcast. I know that it's so fun to create a podcast. You know, you all were kind of like my guinea pigs, but
you did a great job.
You did. Yes.
Thank you. To be fair, you said just do it, and so I did.
Pretty much how we live our lives.
Neither of us really wanted to learn how to do it.
Nope, not at all.
And so I had so much fun. I did not. If you would have told me in college or even a few years after that I would be managing podcasts, I would have thought, what? First of all, what is that?
What's a podcast?
Yeah, what's that? But it's really fun. I love thinking, because again, it's about campaigns, and that's where I really love what I do. It's not just one element of marketing and public relations and event planning. It's all of it, but it's not one size fits all for everybody. Almost every podcast episode needs a fun cover artwork icon thing that then needs extrapolated on every platform you can imagine. And it has to fit that platform correctly. And I just love thinking about that puzzle and the branding of it. I think that's so fun. So I could see more people maybe taking some of that, some of my experience with them. So I could rent out my space to them. I actually am working with the University of Findlay Euler 10, which is their student-run PR marketing firm, and they are helping me build my website. So I'm gonna have like a website soon. I know it's so big.
Exciting.
It is. I'm stoked actually. So anyways, we're coming up with ways for people to land on my page and then rent out my studio space.
Okay.
So what's that look like? So that might be an immediate or very near future goal of mine that maybe comes to fruition. So
I just enjoy how passionate you
know.
are and how much you enjoy what you do.
You can truly tell you're where you're supposed to be because
Yes.
you're doing what you love and you enjoy it so much.
Yeah, I do. I'm very lucky that I found that, because when I was growing up, I'm not good at test taking. I'm not book smart at all. I just
That's not true.
No, I'm not joking.
I don't know about your test taking
I don't
skills,
either,
but I find you read, you're very up on things, very knowledgeable. I mean, before we started this podcast, we had some very deep conversations.
It could be like its own podcast.
I
Do
know.
not
Let's
cut
not
yourself short, Ashley.
Yeah, let's not.
Well, whatever. It's just not my thing. That was not my thing. So I always wondered what I would do, and through college and early in my career, I kind of thought of myself, and maybe even some had referenced me as the jack of all trades, but master of none of them. You know what I mean? Like but that's just kind of me. I'm constantly trying to learn something new. It's just fun. That's fun for me. And when I master something, I'm like, okay, let's try to up the ante. I like that. I've always wanted to challenge myself, but I never knew exactly what I wanted to do. So in college and even after, I allowed myself lots of experiences. I had several different internships that I just went out and did. I found them on my own. Nobody held my hand and helped me get to those. I just reached out to different people, networking. Even everybody hates that word, but it's true. If you have people in your corner and in your network, then that's how you're going to find new opportunities, connect to different things, be the best you can be. So I tried tons of things. I found I wanted to do event planning. So I literally Googled Northwest Ohio event planner, found a wedding company, called her, had coffee, started working for her. But I mean, if I wouldn't have reached out and done that.
You took the initiative.
Yes. Yeah. And now I've planned large scale events and got paid well for it. And I also thought it's fun. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm very lucky, but I've also maybe created some of the luck.
I think you definitely have.
Crazies.
Because you have the courage to go out and try those new things.
Yeah. Yeah, or that I felt really dumb doing them. You know what I mean? At the time, you're like, what am I doing?
But it all came together.
It did. I just didn't know that then. I didn't know what I was doing was going to set me up for what I am doing now. But it did.
It's amazing how it works sometimes.
It is. It is.
So if somebody listening to this podcast thought, I like this girl, I need to connect with her, how can they get a hold of you?
Well,
do not contact Sarah and I.
That was what I was going to say. Please talk to Sarah and Renee. But also, I mean, there's some people who have worked with me before, but easiest way is my email address, which is really long. Do some good marketing at Gmail.
But it's simple.
It's simple. It's all a mouthful, one word.
Yeah.
That's the best way. Just send me an email. I do have a Google page, and people have messaged me on that.
You're on LinkedIn.
I am on LinkedIn. Yep, Ashley Barger on LinkedIn. So, yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you being a guest because she was a very reluctant guest. We hinted at this last year, and then we hinted at it again, but we've been so defunct in actually getting guests for our podcast that thanks for us forcing you to jump in.
Well, and I think it's important that people see the person behind the camera.
Yes.
I mean, you do so much for us and for others. I mean, you have other clients in the Fostoria market. And I think people need to know that you're out there, that you're a resource, and that you are very good at your job. And so we are proud to work with you.
Absolutely.
And we
Thank you.
hope that people now, when they listen to the podcast, they think of your lovely face.
Yes, because every once in a while we'll reference this Ashley, who's been this faceless person. Well, this is our Ashley.
This is her.
Yes.
So
Great.
thank you so much for participating today.
You are so welcome. I would do anything for the two of you.
Oh,
you're
that's
so
so sweet.
It's true.
Be careful what you say.
I know.
Okay.
And we will end this episode on that lovely and positive note.
Yes. So thanks for listening to another episode of
Shut Up and Listen
Small Town Stories
with Sarah
and Renee.